Hello, readers, and thank you for joining me for another phonics lesson. Now, I'm calling this a phonics lesson because that's what our reading series calls it. It's not really a phonics lesson, but we're going to go ahead and go through it. We're going to have a couple lessons this week we're going to do with it. I want to make sure you understand what we're learning about this week so that you can read these words successfully and write them successfully as well. So, our lesson this week is going to be on homographs. Now, homographs that's an interesting word. And it has two parts. The first part of the word means one, and the second part of the word has to do with the letters of the word. So when you see the word homographs, that's when you have two or more words spelled the same, but they're not always pronounced the same. Sometimes they are. But they have different meanings. For example, we have this word right here, and I'm not going to say what it is, although some of you are probably saying it out loud now. But let's look at these two sentences. He will sharpen the pencil lead. Or let's look at this sentence. She will lead the horse. So, word is spelled the same, but it sounds different and it means different things. That makes it a homograph. All right, so we're going to do some sentences and words this week. When we do them, you're going to see on all of ours, I'm going to have a sample sentence. The reason I'm going to have that sentence is because you might want to think about when you're sounding it out, which one would make sense. And we may not know till the very end, but let's go ahead and get started. Let's read this sentence together. I need to saw some wood to build a doghouse. I need to saw some wood to build a doghouse. So let's sound it out. Ready? Sound. S. Sound. All. Put it together. Saw. S. All. Now another meaning of saw, to make it a homograph, is this sentence. We saw some birds flying in the sky. Same pronunciation, so we won't have to sound that out. Let's try another one. Read this sentence with me. The wind held the kite in the air. Now, let's practice sounding a word out. Sound. W. Sound. I. Put that together. Win. Put that together. Wind. 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 But let's look at this one. Read this with me. You will need to wind up some clocks to make them work. That word looks the same, but it has a long I and not a short I. So let's practice that one. Sound this out with me. W-I-N-D. Wind. So it could be wind, it could be wind. You'll need to look at the sentence and figure out which one makes sense there. Next, read this sentence with me. She had target practice using a bow and arrow. Sound it out with me. Sound. B. Sound. O. Put that together. Bow. Now let's look at that word again because it can sound different. Read this sentence with me. Some people will bow their heads when they pray. For those who do, and that OW doesn't say O, it says ow. That's right. Let's sound this one out. B. Ow. Bow. And again, that will be another one you'll have to read the sentence to figure out which one to use. Let's try another one. We just did this. When the pencil lead broke, I had to get a new pencil. Let's sound it out. Sound. L. Sound. Eh. Put that together. Lead. Put it all together. Lead. Now let's try this sentence. He was going to lead his class to the library. EA says E instead of E. Let's sound this one out. L-E-D. Lead. Now let's practice these sounds that we've already learned this year. Say these with me, please. Kull, sn, sh, r, sw, w, ing, or I, a, 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 I, e, or I sometimes, and All right, now when we do our sounding out, we're going to do our silent blending. I want you to look, I've given you some clues this time, and normally I don't give you any clues to the vowel sounds, but I did this time, so if you see a clue, make sure you pay attention to it. I didn't do it on every word, but I definitely did it on some. You ready? Let's get started. Down. And by the way, all the words here are homographs, which means it can be used in two different ways. It has different definitions. Bass. Base. Foot. Close. Close. Upset. Dove. Dove. Doze. Does. I wonder if you know the difference in those. Row. Now, what I might encourage you to do would be to pause the screen right here and look at the words and see if you can figure out how could you use them in a sentence based on the different ways you say them. For instance, does and does. You might not know the difference in those. Might be something to explore today together. Either way, thanks for joining me. Until next time, happy reading.